My name is Jason Cogdill, and this is a summary refresher of the employer mandate for 2026. As we think about the employer mandate, which has been around for 10 years but continues to cause a lot of confusion among employers and advisors, we realize that it's two parts. First, player pay. The employer must offer group health coverage to all full-time employees or be at risk of potential penalties, the A penalty or the B penalty. That's part one. Part two, ACA reporting, Forms 1094 and 1095. Those will be subject of a separate video in the first quarter, but importantly, those are two separate parts of the employer mandate that are connected but independent when it comes to compliance. Right now, I'm going to focus on player pay as we prepare to help employers comply and avoid penalties for 2026. First, what employers are applicable large employers, ALEs, for 2026? These are employers that had, during 2025, full 12 months, 50 or more full-time employees plus equivalents for the calendar year 2025. The best way to do it is for the employer to do a month-by-month average. How many full-time employees did you have for the month? How many non-full-time employees who are aggregated to create an FTE count? Add the full-time employees plus the equivalents for the monthly count, January, February, etc. Go through the year 2025. 50 or more, you're an ALE for 2026. Even if your size may drop during 2026. If you're under 50 on average during 2025, you're exempt from the mandate for all of 2026, even if the number increases over 50 during the year 2026. It's a true year-by-year determination. Quick word about common ownership. If two or more EINs are under common ownership in the IRS control group rules, then those EINs would need to be considered together for the count, only for the count of ALE status. Even if there is common ownership, even if two or more EINs have to be combined for the count such that they are both ALEs for 2026, the compliance would still be done on a tax ID by tax ID basis. But common ownership may apply. That's a complex analysis. We can handle it separately, but I want you to know that that could matter to whether any one employer is an ALE for 2026. Now, if the employer is an ALE, then it's faced with the decision, will we offer group health coverage for 2026 to all full-time employees? Because if the employer does not offer minimum essential coverage to at least 95% of its full-time employees for all months of 2026, then the A penalty, otherwise known as the sledgehammer, could apply. And if it applies, it would be calculated on a monthly basis, number of full-time employees per month, minus 30, because every employer gets a 30 reduction, times the penalty. And you see the current A penalty amounts there on the bullet point on the slide. The A penalty would be triggered if the employer does not offer minimum essential coverage to all of its full-time employees, and any one full-time employee not offered coverage goes to the marketplace, qualifies for a subsidy, and gets the subsidy. The A penalty would apply for those months on all employees, even though 1, 2, 6, 12 are the number that got the subsidy, because the A penalty truly is the sledgehammer. If the employer doesn't offer coverage and anyone gets a subsidy, the employer is penalized on everyone. This is designed to motivate employers to offer coverage. Now, quick word about eligibility. Not all employers have easy eligibility determinations. Everybody's full-time or clearly part-time. Many employers have variable hour employees, seasonal employees. I can help you assess who may need to be offered coverage if the mandate does apply. That's a separate analysis, and I'll move on for now. Now, if the A penalty applies, that's all that applies. The B penalty would be moot. If the employer satisfies the A penalty by offering coverage to all full-time people, then the only way another penalty could apply, the B penalty, also known as the tack hammer, it hurts less, even though it hurts a little bit, is that if the employer offers coverage to all full-time employees, but the coverage it offers is either not minimum value, meaning it's not major medical coverage at least the bronze level, or the employer offers coverage that is minimum value, but it's not affordable to any one or more full-time employees, then the employer could be at risk of the B penalty. And you see the B penalty amounts at the bottom of the screen. But if the B penalty were to apply, it would apply on a one-by-one employee basis based on the number of employees to whom coverage was offered that was not minimum value or not affordable, and the individual went and got a premium subsidy. So the B penalty is known as the tack hammer because it would apply on a one-by-one basis, not based on all full-time employees like the A penalty. Now, the good news for the employer, first, the employer, for affordability, only has to take into account the out-of-pocket cost to employees of the lowest cost plan offered by the employer that meets minimum value. So only the employee out-of-pocket cost relative to the employee's income with the employer. The employer doesn't have to know other factors like household income, and the affordability percentage, which is the highest ever, 9.96%, almost 10%, which makes the math easy for 2026. So if the employer can offer affordable coverage under one of three available safe harbors based on the federal poverty level, the rate of pay for hourly employees, or a projection of W-2 income, if the employer can meet one of those affordability safe harbors, it will be able to claim the safe harbor on the 1095-C for 2026 and know that no penalty could apply, because not only has coverage been offered to all full-time employees, but it's been offered that is minimum value and affordable. For any employer that may be considered an ICRA, I can share additional affordability considerations for an ICRA, but the three safe harbors still apply to ICRA or any plan that meets minimum value. But the employer is going to need to meet these terms to be able to ensure that no penalty applies. Some employers choose to offer coverage that's not affordable, and that's okay as long as they understand that there is some risk of the B penalty. But my role as an advisor is to help make sure the employer avoids the A penalty. That's goal number one. And then if there is any exposure under the B penalty, that it's known, it's defined, and considered in the analysis. If I can help with any additional information, including one-page summaries of the mandate, reporting, or specific advising relating to control group status, eligibility, or other factors, I'll be happy to do that. We're all on the same team when it comes to helping employers comply and avoid penalties wherever possible. The IRS does continue to enforce the employer mandate. That's not going to change anytime soon. So let's do the best we can so that a rising tide lifts all ships. Until then, stay compliant. Thanks for listening.